The cursed Clippers lost Paul George for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Could they miss the playoffs entirely?
100% they could. Will they fall out of the play-in? No. But if they don't have Paul George for the play-in, they could lose play-ins or elimination games. They could lose any of those games and just be done. And so there's a Kawhi angle to this, and then there's a trade angle to this, which is also kind of a Kawhi angle. The Kawhi angle is I had to listen for the better part of a year that this guy was the best player in the league. After what he did in Toronto, then he goes to LA, best player in LA. I had to listen to all of that. Kawhi, it is now incumbent upon you. It is not fair to ask Kawhi if Paul George is done for the year to lead them to a championship. It is absolutely fair to say, Kawhi, make sure they make the playoffs. You are as load managed as any player in the league. You should be the freshest superstar in the league right now. You have a bit of a cushion in the standings at the moment due to what the team has done over the bulk of the season. You're the 5 seed right now. You're at 35 losses. You can't fall out of the playoffs altogether. Just can't. And by the way, the Clippers' schedule is not easy. As I mentioned, they host Oklahoma City tonight. Saturday, they host New Orleans. Monday, they host Chicago. That's the softest part. Then, their final 6 games at Memphis again, at New Orleans, home for the Lakers, home for the Blazers. Again, the Blazers at that point might have packed it in. And then at Phoenix in the final game of the year that theoretically Kevin Durant could be back for. Big spots here for Kawhi Leonard. Now to the Clippers, the other angle of it. They are cursed, man. They have gotten, since they got Kawhi and Paul George, their first year together, they're up 3-1 on the Nuggets. They fall apart entirely. Their second year together, they look like they have a real chance of making the finals. Kawhi blows out his knee in round 2 of the playoffs. They end up winning that round anyway, but they lose, obviously, to the Suns in the conference finals. Then next year, Kawhi misses all year. Paul George keeps them afloat. They get to the play-in. Paul George is ruled out for the play-in due to COVID health and safety protocols, and their season ends. And now this year, when they look like one of the scariest teams in the West, they end up having to, they're not going to have Paul George for at least the rest of the regular season. Now we get back to how this whole thing started with them. That Paul George trade, I understand, I argued with Broussard about this, like, any team would make it. You traded for Paul George. You ended up, that was how you got Kawhi Leonard. Got it. But again, not to reference LeBron for the 3rd time in the show, but I have had to listen for LeBron's entire career, and certainly his Lakers tenure, that it is on him that he forced the Lakers to trade for Russ. It didn't work, and LeBron did it. Well, let's revisit this fact. Kawhi Leonard, the Clippers had the opportunity to sign Kawhi Leonard and give up no one. He told them, in order to get me, you must trade for Paul George. So let's talk about what they gave up for Paul George, because it is quite the haul now that we know this has not worked out at all. They traded for Paul George, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is an all-NBA level player right now, plays for the Thunder, averaging 32 points per game, and the Thunder have been as good as the Clippers all year based on his play. I don't want to say alone, but he's been the driving force. Danilo Gallinari, so be it. And 5 first-round picks. They traded them a 2021 first, a 2023 first, a 2022 first, a first in 24, a first in 26, and the rights to swap picks in 23 and 25. So 5 first-round picks, 2 swaps, and the best player in the trade. Why? So the Clippers, if Kawhi, when he went there, had said, no, I'm just going to come here. Keep Shea, keep all those picks, and wait and see how we can improve the team. But he wouldn't do that. And now they looked for the fourth year of this to have no championship hopes. And for their next 4 seasons, they either have to give up their first round pick or swap with the Thunder, Thunder might swap with them this year because the Thunder might end up with a better record than them this year. It's a disaster of a trade.
Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.